The blazing red sun hung over the African sky, its light spilling across the scorched grasslands. Dry winds blew through, carrying the scent of cracked earth and the ashes of natural fires. In the distance, antelopes hid behind low shrubs, while a pride of lions stalked silently. Amid this harsh scene, a small group of people trudged forward, their thin bodies worn, their eyes glowing with both exhaustion and determination. They were the Uru tribe, one of the first branches of Homo sapiens. Their old village had run dry, the animals had left, and the streams were nothing but thick mud. The elder decided, "We must leave." To the north lies new land, where the sun rises between the rocks. And so, the tribe set out 15 people, carrying a few flint stones, sharpened animal bones, hides for clothing, and above all, fire burning in the palm of their hands. That fire was kept in a basket woven from dry grass, wrapped in damp hide to shield it from the wind. The one entrusted with it was Kai, the strongest youth. He knew, if the fire went out, the night would swallow them whole. On the first night of their journey, they stopped by a large rock. Children cried in fear of the darkness, while the hyenas howled like spirits. Kai lit the fire, its flickering glow casting twisted shadows on the stone. Like hundreds of souls dancing, the elder sat by the flames, holding a carved bone. He said, "Our ancestors taught that mankind is the child of fire and earth. Fire gives us strength, earth gives us form. But earth also thirsts for blood. We are weak, it will devour us." The children's eyes lit up, filled with both fear and trust. The next day, they crossed a vast savanna. Dust storms darkened the sky, and the wind whipped their faces raw. A woman collapsed, her belly swollen. She was in her final month of pregnancy. The tribe stopped, building a makeshift shelter of hides. Screams tore the air, then a newborn's cry broke through. Yet before joy could settle, the mother no longer breathed. Kai lifted the blood-stained infant in his arms. The elder sighed, drawing a line of earth around the mother's body. Covering it with stones, murmuring a farewell, "You return to the earth. The child remains with the fire." The tribe stood silent. While the wind howled like mourning, the journey pressed on. By day they fled from the claws of lions. By night they huddled by the fire, listening to the drums of distant storms. Hunger and thirst closed in. Some ate poisonous roots and vomited, others dried up beneath the sun. The peak came when they entered a desert. The ground split open, sand burned their bare feet. Their water was gone, their lips cracked and bleeding. Children cried without sound, their mouths gaping dry. Kai struggled to carry the fire, his strength fading. One pitch-black night, desert winds rose, blasting sand that buried the tribe in dust. The fire dimmed. Kai screamed, shielding it with his body, his flesh torn by sand and wind. But at last the flame died. Darkness consumed them, cold seeping in. The tribe collapsed, hopeless. Without fire, they were prey to the beasts. At that moment the elder stood, leaning on his staff. From a leather pouch he drew a strange stone jet black, found in a deep cave. He struck it against another. Sparks burst forth, catching on dry grass. Flames roared like a miracle. The people wept, terrified and relieved. Clutching one another, the elder rasped, "Remember, this humankind does not die as long as we can create fire. This is the mark that we not only survive, but rise above the darkness." In the flickering glow, Kai's eyes flashed strangely. The light reflected as though fire itself burned within his pupils. The elder saw it, stunned, then nodded as if he knew this youth was not only the keeper of fire, but the bond tying the tribe's fate to something greater, beyond human understanding. After long days trudging through the desert, the Uru tribe finally saw the horizon change color. Before them rose a majestic mountain range, white clouds coiling around like giant serpents. Cool streams flowed down the slopes, forests stood deep green, birds chirped in chorus. The whole tribe burst into tears, their sobs mingling with cries of joy. They had escaped the dry death of the savannah. stepping into a new and mysterious land. At night, they gathered around the fire, listening to the elder say, "This is not yet our resting place. The ancestors will lead us farther, but be cautious. Where sweet water flows, others dwell as well." Those words echoed in the darkness, and on that very first night they proved true. Strange noises came from the forest, heavy footsteps, branches snapping. Kai instantly grabbed his spear, eyes sharp. The tribe held its breath. Through the mist, a figure emerged, but he did not look like them. Broad shoulders, bulging muscles, a low brow, a jutting jaw like it was ready to bite. His amber eyes glowed, reflecting the firelight. Kai growled softly, pointing his spear. But the figure did not attack. He stood still, watching silently, then vanished into the fog. The next morning, they found large footprints pressed into the damp earth. The elder frowned. Not a beast, a man, but not like us. In the days that followed, the Uru tribe pushed deeper into the mountains. They always felt watched. The sound of stones clashing, long howls drifting through the mist, as though signals from another tribe. First only footprints, then warm animal bones, and finally stones arranged into arrows pointing straight at them. One night, with the full moon hanging high, Kai and several youths patrolled the camp. Suddenly, from the brush, dozens of figures leapt out huge, hair-covered, roaring like beasts. The Uru tribe raised their spears, Kai's fire blazing in hand. The strangers faltered, but did not retreat. Battle erupted. Blood sprayed onto the grass. Screams of pain mingled with savage growls. Kai struck one down, but fangs tore his arm. At last, the elder charged forward with a torch, spinning a circle of fire. The strangers snarled, then slowly backed into the mist. After the clash, some of the Uru lay dead forever. They buried them by the stream, smearing blood on stones, praying for the ancestors' protection. Kai sat in silence, firestorm reflected in his eyes. He knew this was no mere search for new land, but a struggle for survival between two kinds of humans. And then, the very next night, something strange happened. As Kai tended the fire, a figure from the other tribe appeared quietly, unarmed. It was a girl, hair tangled, skin sunburnt, her gaze fixed on the flames as if spellbound. She said nothing, only laid a piece of roasted meat on the ground, then stepped back. Kai froze. He felt it. Amid hatred, there was something else vague yet powerful. Like a red thread binding two kinds of humans together, Kai watched the girl's silhouette vanish into the mist. A storm of conflict rising within him. Part of him urged caution, fearing a trap. Yet another part was haunted by her gaze, neither fierce nor bloodthirsty, but carrying something else. The next morning he told the elder. The old man stayed silent, then drew a spiral in the dirt with his staff. "We are not the only kind. The earth has birthed many lines. Some may be brothers, some may be mortal enemies. Fire can guide the way, but it can also consume. You must choose for yourself." The following night, Kai saw the girl again. This time, she came closer, her hands raised to show no hostility. Kai gripped his spear tightly, but did not lower it. They stood staring at each other for a long time, hearing only the rhythm of their hearts mingled with the hum of insects. She placed a hand on her chest and uttered a strange sound, not the tongue of the Uru, resonant like stone striking water. "Nah," Rakai repeated, his voice trembling. "Nah." "Ra," she smiled, a rare smile in the suffocating night before turning to leave. But others in the tribe had noticed. One hot-tempered youth, Bear, who had long quarreled with Kai, had been watching. He returned and whispered, "Kai shares the fire with the others. He betrays us." The rumors spread like poisoned wind. By the seventh day, when the tribe rested near a waterfall, Bear leveled his spear at Kai and roared before the crowd, "You have brought demons here. Because of you, our blood has been spilled." Tension stretched like a bowstring ready to snap. Kai clenched his spear, fire flashing in his eyes. But before combat could erupt, a stone horn blared from the mountainside. The whole tribe froze. From the mist emerged dozens of towering figures armed with sharp stones and heavy clubs. Leading them was a giant warrior, nearly half again as tall as the Uru, with a low brow, square jaw, and eyes cold as ice. His voice thundered. "This is our land." Chaos exploded. Spears and stone axes clashed, firelight flared, blood soaked into wild grass. Kai fought with fury, his weapon moving as if bound to the flame burning in his eyes. In the frenzy, he glimpsed Nara across the battlefield, her eyes filled with despair, screams, bones breaking. Fire crackling, the earth drank deeply of blood that night from both tribes. Yet from that carnage, the fated bond between Kai and Nara began. After the fierce battle, both tribes were exhausted. The Uru tribe lost 4 people, including a child, and the rest were wounded. On the other side, many Neanderthal corpses lay under the moonlight. Blood seeped into the earth, spreading a pungent metallic smell. But the strange thing was that the next morning, when the mist cleared, the bodies of the strangers had disappeared. Only heavy drag marks remained, leading toward the mountains. The elder pondered. They do not leave their own behind. They have souls, their own laws. Kai was silent. In his eyes, the image of Nara from the previous night still haunted him. That trembling smile amid fire and blood did not resemble that of an enemy. Many days later, when the Uru tribe set up a temporary camp by the stream, Kai secretly left the group. He walked deep into the forest, where the damp smell of earth mingled with the scent of decaying leaves. There, Nara was waiting. They did not share the same language, only exchanged through glances, gestures, soft laughter. Kai offered her a piece of roasted meat. She replied with a sweet wild fruit. Sometimes their hands brushed, burning hot like fire on skin. One bright moonlit night, under the ancient tree's shadow, their trembling bodies found each other. In panting breaths, in eyes filled with both fear and longing, they forgot the boundaries of blood feud. The firelight flickered on the cliff, painting the image of 2 species entwined as one. That winter, thick fog blanketed the valley. As the Uru tribe prepared to leave, Nara appeared, frail, her hands holding a swollen belly. Kai froze, his heart pounding wildly. That night, she gave birth in a desolate cave. The newborn's cry echoed, tearing through the fog. The child had a small face like the Uru, deep black eyes that glowed golden when catching firelight. The elder looked at the baby, silent for a long time. Then he spoke softly. "This child is not only your blood, Kai. It is the seed of 2 lines. It may be salvation, or it may be doom." The news spread through the tribe. Bear roared, an omen of disaster. "It will bring demons upon us." The others were unsettled. Some afraid, some curious. Some whispered the baby was a bridge, others wanted to cast it into the fire to erase the curse. Kai held the child to his chest, eyes blazing like fire. "Whoever touches it must step over my corpse." Nara looked at him, tears in her eyes but also shining with determination. That night, a blizzard struck unexpectedly, the mountains howling. The tribe huddled around the fire, while in the cave, the child of 2 bloodlines cried out. That cry echoed like a prophecy of a future irreversible, where the 2 species would be forced to face destiny. And in the pitch-black night, the child's eyes glowed like 2 embers. The night sky shone bright as day. Not the moonlight, nor the campfire. A gigantic halo, like a split silver shell, hung in the sky. A humming sound echoed, the ground trembling like an earthquake. Naru's tribe panicked. They fell to their knees, faces pressed to the ground, murmuring prayers. Naru, however, looked up, her eyes red from the dazzling light, her heart pounding wildly. In that moment, she clearly saw the figures of towering beings stepping out of the radiance, bodies gleaming. Movements majestic like deities, they did not speak with mouths. But in Naru's head resounded a deep voice. "You have reached the time to choose. Live in the darkness of the beginning or step into a new era." Naru gripped her spear tightly, but her body trembled. She knew this was no longer a choice for herself, but for the tribe. For descendants of countless generations, Suddenly, from the crowd, Turo shouted, "They are demons. They want to devour our souls." He rushed forward, hurling a massive stone at the radiant beings. The stone fell, striking the ground with a thunderous crash. A flash of lightning flared. Turo screamed, collapsing, his body smoking as if burned from within. The smell of charred flesh spread everywhere. The tribe was terrified, weeping, wailing. But Naru could not turn her back and flee. Within her arose a strange power, like a call from deep in her blood. She stepped forward, light engulfing her body. One of the beings reached out, touched her forehead. The world spun, images flashing like shattered mirrors, a colossal city rising on the plain. Humans who could fly, who controlled seas of fire, then everything collapsing, sinking into chaos and bloodshed. The voice echoed, "Your kind holds within both creation and destruction. We sow the seed, but you will be the ones to nurture or to ruin it. Remember, every flame can warm but can also burn." Naru screamed, "Why choose me?" "Because you dare to look straight into the darkness." When the radiance faded, leaving only the silent wilderness, Naru collapsed, utterly exhausted. The tribe looked at her, their eyes filled with both reverence and suspicion. They were no longer the same, and neither was she. She understood. Those beings were not gods, nor demons. They were sewers of seeds, and mankind itself would decide the outcome. That night, Naru lit a great fire. The flames flickered across her face, as if she wished to pass on a message to future generations. My origin is not only from earth, it's from stone, but also from choice itself. We carry within us the secret of the universe, and it will decide whether we are divine or monstrous. The howl of wolves echoed from afar, blending with the whistling wind. A new era had just begun, and Naru knew this was only the beginning. Thousands of years passed. The fire Naru lit became legend. In ancient caves, people still found paintings of a woman standing before the split radiance, beneath her kneeling figures. Beside her, a charred corpse. Children were taught, do not anger the seed sowers. Live to be worthy of Naru's fire? The wise argued. Did Naru truly meet deities, or only the fire of another age? An old man whispered, "We carry the blood of those who sowed the seed. That which makes us advance is also that which may destroy us." Look around. War, ambition, all are cracks repeating. One stormy night, lightning splitting the sky, a child asked his father, "Will the radiant ones truly return?" The father was silent, then said, "They never went far. They are within us. Each time we choose to kill or to save, we hear them speak again." Outside, the wind howled, the sea roared. The fire of mankind still burned, but no one knew whether it would illuminate heaven or consume the world dark early morning. The tropical forest in East Africa was still misty. Dr. Min, a Vietnamese archaeologist, stood before the entrance of a newly excavated cave. The faint drawing on the rock wall made him shiver. A woman holding a spear, standing before a split radiance with a crowd kneeling below. Again the image of Naru. He muttered. This was already the third cave in a month, all depicting the same scene. Spanning thousands of kilometers, his assistant. A young student named Anne looked closely. "Professor, could it be just a symbolic image, like the sun, the moon?" Min shook his head, his voice dropping. "No, the strokes are unusual. It doesn't look like a religious ritual, but like a memory recorded in the darkness." The flashlight swept across and revealed a strange symbol. Two parallel curved lines, like two cracks splitting apart. Min touched it lightly, and his palm suddenly went numb, his veins vibrating. That night, Min dreamed of a nightmare. He stood in the vast plain, facing Naru, the woman with fiery eyes. She did not speak, only raised her hand toward the sky. A colossal radiance opened, shining figures descended. The wind howled, children cried, wolves howled. Then everything drowned in a sea of fire. He jolted awake, heart pounding. In the tent, Anne had also just dreamed of the same scene, so much that she didn't even dare to breathe heavily. The next day, the team continued excavating. They discovered beneath the cave floor a layer of rock melted, as if a tremendous fire had once burned there tens of thousands of years ago. Strangely, within the ashes, they found a thin piece of metal glittering. Without rust, Anne's hands trembled as she picked it up. "Professor, this object cannot exist in prehistoric times." Min froze. He knew this was the fragment confirming that the legend of Naru was not just a tale. That evening, the archaeological camp shook violently. The ground cracked, the wind roared. From the fissure, a pale blue light spread. The team fled in panic. Only Min and Anne stood frozen. They clearly saw the silhouette of a gate of light slowly opening, exactly like the rock wall depiction. A voice echoed in Min's head. Not in any known language, but as a sensation flooding into his mind. The moment of trial comes again. The fire of Naru has never been extinguished. "You are about to choose once more," Anne screamed, tears streaming down her face. "Professor, if this is real, then humanity can never escape destiny?" Min gripped the metal shard tightly, his eyes shining in the darkness. "No, destiny is only a story not yet written. We are the ones holding the pen." The radiance flared, the wind swirled into a vortex, pulling them inside. Before fainting, Min glimpsed Naru's silhouette smiling, as if waiting for them to continue the flame of the past. A beam of white light swallowed the entire space. Min and Anne felt as if they were torn away from the ground, falling into a void without gravity. The sound of wind disappeared, replaced by an eerie silence. When he opened his eyes, Min found himself standing on a transparent plain. Beneath it, an endless void where stars spun like a river of light. Beside him, Anne trembled, clutching his arm tightly. "Professor, where is this?" "This isn't Earth," her voice broke. Before them, a long corridor appeared, winding like the veins of a colossal organism. The walls pulsed with shifting colors as if breathing. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed in their minds. "You have opened the fracture. We have awaited this for long." A giant figure stepped out from the end of the corridor. Its form was 3 times Min's height, glowing blue all over, eyes burning like twin flames. It had no mouth, yet each word resonated clearly. Anne staggered back, her face pale. They look exactly like what Naru once saw." But Min stood firm, his eyes glinting with both awe and clarity. He whispered, "Then the legend." All of it was true. The being raised its hand. Without touching, Min and Anne felt a hot surge flood their minds. Images burst forth, ancient tribes huddled around fire. Naru standing tall, her eyes fixed on the radiance. An entire civilization rising in brilliance, then collapsing into a sea of fire. The voice continued, "You carry within you the memory of Naru. We sow the seed, but it is your kind who decide what the tree will become." Now that the fracture opens again, the choice begins anew. Min drew a deep breath, forcing calm. "If you planted the seed, then why condemn our ancestors to tragedy? Why did Naru have to witness her tribe's destruction?" The void trembled, as if the being itself faltered. Then it answered slowly, "Without tragedy, there is no will." Naru chose to face it. Others chose to kneel. That difference kept the fire of your kind alive. Anne cried out, tears streaming. "But what about us? What do you want us to choose?" "To keep repeating the cycle of blood and fire." The being remained silent, then pointed ahead. The corridor opened into an immense chamber where thousands of glowing orbs floated, each holding fragments of memory, ancient tribes, futuristic cities, wars, cataclysms. This is every possibility. The choice of your kind will open one of them. But remember, every flame can warm, or it can burn. Min stared, his heart racing. In one orb, he saw Earth shrouded in black smoke and oceans of fire. But in another, Earth glowed with harmony, humans living in balance. Cities rising amid endless green. He turned to Anne, his voice firm. "Maybe this is why we were brought here. Not to be afraid, but to continue where Naru left off." Anne gripped his hand tightly, nodding, tears glimmering under the blue light. In that instant, the corridor shook, the glowing orbs swirled. and a vast rift of light opened before them, a vortex raging. The voice thundered one last time. The flame now lies in your hands. Step forward and choose. Min and Anne held each other's hands and walked straight into the fracture. The light engulfed them both, opening a destiny whose end even they could not yet know. The light withdrew, and Min and Anne crashed hard onto solid ground. When they opened their eyes, they were stunned. Before them was a ruined city, both ancient and modern. Stone pillars engraved with symbols like those of Naru's cave stood beside towering metal spires. Their lights flickering like dying breaths, the wind swept through, carrying faint groans. Min gripped Anne's hand, whispering, "This is no illusion. These are the remnants of a civilization that once existed parallel to ours." They walked on, guided by the blue glow from the stone pillars. At the center, a deep pit radiated heat. Within it, a blazing energy core. Min realized it was the flame Naru had once seen, still burning for thousands of years. Suddenly, a figure appeared. Not a glowing being, but a human clothed in tatters, eyes wild. "You have come again? Forever, mankind will be trapped in this cycle." The man lunged forward, wielding a glowing blade. Anne screamed. Min blocked him in time, struggling. In that instant, he glimpsed the man's memories. A descendant of a tribe that had crossed the rift thousands of years ago. But chose greed, their civilization collapsed. "You will be the same as me, devoured by the fire." He raged. Min broke free, shouting, "No! Fire is not for destruction, but to light the way." He slashed with the metal shard he had found in the cave. Light flared, and the madman fell, dissolving into dust. The energy core shook violently. Min and Anne exchanged a look. They knew this was the decisive moment. If they fled, the fire would erupt, destroying both worlds. If they accepted, they had to merge with it, becoming guardians of the flame. As Naru once was, and gripped Min's hand, her voice trembling yet resolute. "Professor, perhaps this is the choice they spoke of. Not life or death, but the courage to step into the fire, to keep hope alive." Min nodded firmly. Together they leaped into the fiery pit. The light engulfed them, yet instead of pain, they felt warmth. Naru's figure appeared, standing amidst the sea of light, smiling. A voice echoed, "You have chosen. The flame will not die. From now on, it lives in the heart of mankind." Years later, on high mountains, people still found strange symbols, two parallel lines curved apart, and beneath them was the image of two figures holding hands as they stepped into the fire. People told the legend that a teacher and his student once vanished into a door of light to preserve humanity's flame. From then on, fire was no longer fear, but a symbol of will and hope by the hearth. Children were still taught, the flame of Naru, of Min and An, lies within our own hearts. It can warm the world, or consume it. Only humans decide. Out there, the starlit sky still shone, the rift seemed closed. But who could know? Perhaps somewhere, they were still watching, waiting for mankind to choose again.